Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover a new character every week from Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'm your host, Fred,
I'm Brad.
And I'm Steven.
and we are sans Brandon today. Unfortunately, we got another one of our characteristic scheduling issues, but we'll carry on without him. How are you today, Brad?
I'm doing pretty good today, I think.
Pretty good, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you today, Steven?
I'm doing excellent, Fred. I'm here at the game store. I just finished up playing some games of Marvel Crisis Protocol.
I am jealous. I'm jealous I haven't gotten to play this week. I am doing very well myself. It is a beautiful day out right now, and I am back to my patented outdoors recording. So if you hear any sounds of nature, it's because I'm outside. Nature sounds. Hey,
Nature
all right.
sounds.
All right. So how are let's talk about some stuff that we've got going on right now with Marvel Crisis Protocol. So, news and announcements wise, there's not a whole lot to talk about. They've been pretty quiet. They have officially released the cards for the Immortal Hulk, but we've already covered them,
Yes.
and they're underwhelming just in general. So, we, I'm just pointing out that they released that, and now I think that's the only news that's involving Marvel Crisis
Not
Protocol that we
quite,
have.
Fred. Not
Not
quite.
quite? Okay.
We
What's
have
going on?
we have an exclusive from the floor of Adepticon. Okay? Someone
Ooh.
someone snapped some pictures of a couple official mats that maybe we'll see for sale at some point. There's no information on if they're going to sell them or whatever, but AMG has them. They are official licensed product.
Okay.
There's like a techie looking X-Men one, like it might be the floor of the danger room. And then there is a Wakandan one with like a road and there's like some pavement area and some desert area that looks pretty cool. Fred, you can see those in our local personal Discord since you
Oh,
missed them.
okay. I did. I must have. But do they come pre-marked with all of the
No,
new stuff on them?
no.
Oh,
An
okay.
official mat will never be pre-marked because they
Because that's too convenient.
no,
It's too
it's
player
they
friendly.
they told when this started coming out, they said that they would not be doing that and that you should buy a blank one. Um, and that was kind of a warning that they are going to change things like they did.
Right. Right.
So it's
That
basically leaving it blank leaves it future proof, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, the ones that are pre-marked still have a lot of use.
Yeah.
They're still very useful. The only circles that you don't use, I think, are the A's.
Yes.
And that's because nothing is A anymore.
And
Nothing is A.
nothing will be A because they took A out.
Yeah, so
Who
now
knows?
the
Maybe the next rotation will have A and like L through R or something.
in the alphabet for AMG, A does not exist. So now they are just MG. That was terrible, and I apologize to everyone. I've shortened everybody's lives with that joke. That was an inappropriate joke. All right, well, let's move on to something that we do have a lot more information on, and that is a game called Marvel. Nope, it's called Star Wars Shatterpoint. It is not a Marvel product. It is a, but it is from AMG. So
it's Marvel Comics presents Star Wars because they have the license for Star Wars comics. Only comic characters are in this game. No one from the movies or anything.
Oh boy. Okay.
So here's what we have. We have demos going on at Adepticon. And so information will probably be coming out after this podcast this weekend. More details about the game. But right now, people have taken pictures of the cards on the demo tables and posted them on Facebook and stuff, so you can probably find them. If you're in any Shatterpoint Discord, you've probably seen them by now. We also have, I saw pictures of dice today. So the defense dice have 2 each of block, expertise, and failure, which is kind of boring.
Yeah.
The attack dice are a little more interesting. They have 1 crit, 3 hits, 2 expertise, and 2 failures.
Okay.
So at least it's
Does
not
does it
2 2 2 2.
does an expertise count as a hit?
No.
Like in No, okay. So it's
No.
not like wild in Marvel Crisis Protocol.
No. So an expertise gives you, depending on how many you get to, there's like a separate
A
table
specific-
that
Yeah.
gives various effects. So it might be that if you get from 1 to 3 expertise, you get a block. But if you get 4 or more, you get a block and you change one of their crits to a failure or something.
Okay.
So it is like a parallel system to the main system.
Okay. So on the to hit dice, it's not 6 of 8 hits. It is
No,
it
it
is
is 4.
50-50.
Yeah.
Is 4 hits and one of them crits. Okay.
Yeah. 3 hits, 1 crit. And then you have your
Right.
expertise that help in a way. And then you have 2 failures. So those 2 failures do nothing. Kind of. So, like, which character was it? One of the characters, I was reading over their card, and I think it might be Asajj Ventress. If you attack her and you get a failure, you take damage.
Ooh.
So not only
Okay.
did that fail, but she damaged you back.
She hurts
she
you.
parried you. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we only have like a couple clones, and they work well together. It looks like maybe that'll be a thing. Like if you put a bunch of clones, the clones work well together. We know for a fact that even though the Mandalorians are from 2 different sects of Mandalorians that don't get along, their rules work really well together, which is cool.
Okay.
I like that.
What are your feelings on all the information that we've got? Like, what's your takeaway?
I still want to play the game to like really feel it out, but I'm pretty optimistic about this.
Okay.
As being just a fun game to play with my friends.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get it, and you and I can play at least.
I think.
All right.
I think it'll be more than just us, Fred.
I think you're probably right. All right, let's move on. Let's move off of Shatterpoint. So we've had a pretty eventful week since our last record. There was a tournament in South Charleston at Lost Legion Games, and we had 14 people show up. It was a very successful tournament. It was a ton of fun, and let's talk about it, and let's talk about some of our takeaways. I played. It went 4 rounds, and I was playing the Midnight Suns list that I cooked up with Brandon in the Well Laid Plans episode that we did together. And oh boy, it was fun to play. Oh boy, it was a blast. I'll tell you this: I did not think every character that I was skeptical of in that record, I was wrong about. Like Ghost Spider did so much work in the game that I brought her in. She was unbelievably useful. Iron Fist is just generally great to have on the field. I really love this list that we built, that Brandon helped me build, and it is a ton of fun. I already have a change that I am probably going to make, and it is one that Steven, you helped inspire.
Oh
I'm going to
no.
put, yeah, I'm going to put Steve Avengers, the Cap Steve in there,
Oh really?
instead of Venom. I'm going to replace Venom, which is a strange choice. And maybe it's the wrong choice. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, um, Bodyguard is really, really helpful. It helped me in my games, although I didn't win um, with Cap Steve. He provided a lot of defense, and if you play him with Strange, oh my God, it gets ridiculous.
My thought process here is it lets me play as Avengers in real corner cases, like because Blade is an Avenger, Doctor Voodoo is an Avenger. I could do at 15 points. I was thinking about this. In a 15-point game, I could do Cap Steve, I could do Blade, and then I could do either Blade or Doctor Voodoo, whichever one works best
Mhm.
in the circumstance, and then Malekith. And that could be a real bullying 15, and it would let me get back down to a ferocity of 2 cost instead of 3, which would be nice.
Don't forget that Iron Fist is also an Avenger.
Oh boy, yeah, you're right.
Although
Yeah, so
he doesn't benefit from Cap's leadership. He's still an Avenger to make affiliation.
right. Yeah, I think that would be a good change. But to the games that I played, I went 2-2. I lost 2 and won 2. I started with a great game against Nick. Nick, if you're hearing this, I don't know if he listens, but it was a
He
fantastic
doesn't.
game. Oh well. Oh well. It was a great game and I enjoyed it immensely. And it was very close. I don't know. He beat my ass, but I feel like I put up a good fight. I feel like I put up a good fight. Uh, I won the second game, and there's an asterisk next to that. I won because I technically cheated. Uh, it was Montesi formula was the
Okay,
was
Fred,
the
that first game he won 16 to your 15. I think that it was a good game was probably accurate.
Yes, it was a very good game. It was pretty close. I don't think that it would have gone in like that 16 was gonna happen and I was not gonna get to 16.
Right.
Like he was gonna win, but I put up a pretty good fight. In the second game, I used the Montesi formula attack twice in one turn to high effect, which was technically illegal. You can only do that once per turn, and I didn't realize that until after the game was over. So to my opponent, I apologize. Uh, I feel genuinely kind of bad about it.
Who'd you play in the second game?
Riley.
Riley. Okay.
Yeah, and he was playing a Kingpin criminal syndicate list,
Mhm.
and Midnight Suns. I mean, even without that cheat, I felt pretty good into that list, mostly because of the scenarios that got drawn, because it was Demons Downtown and Montesi formula,
Oh yeah.
and both of those are good for me. That's a real good combination of things for me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The third game I played against CJ, and this game came down to the wire. I mean, it was exceptionally close, and this is the game where I played Ghost Spider, and she did so much work, it was crazy. I brought Malekith this game, and Malekith basically bullied the table. It felt really good, and I pulled out a win. I pulled out a win against CJ, but it was damn close. And there was a turn where you tried to pull a win out of a bad situation, and it all came down to whether or not you could kill Wong with Winter Soldier, and it was just not capable. It just couldn't come together. But it was still a really cool attempt. And then my last game was against Brad, and Brad trashed me. It was not close. So those were my 4 games. Steven, why don't you tell us about your experience at the tournament?
Well, I also play Midnight Suns, believe it or not. That's
Yes,
what I usually run.
And your list, looking at your list, is why I want to make the captain change, because having that option, I think, would help my list,
Okay.
or help my opponent, like make my opponent question whether I'm bringing Captain Steve or Blade as my
Right.
leader.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is, I really didn't play anybody new except for one, because my first game was against Ryan, who frequents your tournaments, and I
Yeah.
won that game, but I technically cheated too, Fred. So I put a Brother Daniel token on some grunts, which is not allowed. I found out later, but we were already too far into the game. So the score was pretty high. I think it was like I don't know, 17-19 or something like that. I'm not sure, Brad. 17-16.
Yep.
Oh,
But
it was very close.
But here's the whole thing. On round 2, he was winning 12-1.
Whoa, whoa! What were your objectives?
Fear grips and
Brad,
deadly meteors.
Okay.
Fear grips, world hammers, and deadly meteors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was running Malekith with Emma Frost and Nick Fury with the grunts, and I forget who else, but it was a weird agglomeration.
It's Hellfire Club. He was playing that Hellfire Club list.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
And it's hard to nail down exactly what's going to come in that, because it can be anything.
but we also conferred and said I probably could have thrown Nick Fury into the grunts and killed the grunts, because they only had 1 wound left, and then or they only have 1 or 2 wounds anyway, and then I would have done my attacks into Fury, and the same result would have happened. So we were kind of like, yeah, it possibly could have happened. So, but and then second game I played Brandon. Did I play you third game, Brad?
Yes, you played Brandon second.
Yeah, and this is where I ran Cap Steve, and I probably should have stuck to my guns and went with Midnight Suns, but I was running Doctor Strange with Cap Steve, Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Voodoo. And my whole thing was I was going for displacement because we were on intrusions and
research station.
Yeah. So I wanted to push people off points, but the thing is, he was running Criminal Syndicate. He stuck his big boy Black Dwarf right in the middle, and I couldn't push anybody past him. And then there was a truck backing it up, so it was very, very crowded. So he used the train very, very well. My only chance was to table his lift, which I almost did.
Wow.
Black Dwarf and Kingpin survived injured. Kingpin, I don't know how much damage he had on him, but he started running Black Dwarf away because he was up 15 to some other number I had, and he wasn't scoring any more points, but I didn't have enough turns left to score out to get to a victory, so I had to attrition him. So very bloody, the kind of game Brandon doesn't like. He doesn't like going beyond round 3, so went to round 6.
This was the game that took him that went to completion, like it fulfilled all 6 rounds.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
And he hated it. He was complaining about hating it.
Fred, did you just say that this game took Brandon to completion?
Yes, it got over the top, and we anyway. Keep going. Keep talking about your games. I'm gonna shut up.
So needless to say, I think I have the tools to go against Criminal Syndicate. I just did not apply them correctly. So it was a learning experience. And then my third game, I played Brad. And there I learned that, I still have a lot to learn because Brad, Brad and I have faced off before. In the beginning, Brad used to pretty handily beat me, but as of late, we've been going back and forth a little bit. So, but this time, Brad came out on top. What was the score, please, Brad?
17-11.
17-11, yeah. So I was not. Storm got off a very good attack on Doctor Strange and dazed him in one go.
Yeah,
And I
that
was
was
like,
very
ooh.
lucky.
But that was a turning point,
That
I would have to say.
that was the game where it came down to I don't remember if it was Days or KO Moon Knight, which is your only model left, or I probably lose the game. And I managed to get him, and then that let me win the game.
Yeah. Well, you're very kind with your words, sir.
Yeah.
So
It was down to whether I dazed the model or not.
yeah. And then my last game, I played Cork, who's from the Dayton area. Hi, Cork. How you doing? And he runs the tournaments down in that area. I've been to one of those before, and I plan on going to one that's coming up in April that he's going to run. But he was running Web Warriors with Thanos, of all people. And this game had a moment, and Doctor Strange had that moment. Fred, this is why you run Doctor Strange. We were playing on demons, and I forget the extract. I'm sorry, Brad. I'm being bad.
Oh.
So.
I had clicked over to look at his list. It was Alien Ship and Demons Downtown.
Okay. Yeah, his list was Toad and Thanos and Gwen, Miles, and Black Cat.
Okay.
Doctor Strange.
With
Doctor.
Thanos.
Yeah, Doctor Strange went into Black Cat the first time, and you can't do rerolls into her. But I rolled like with 5 dice. I rolled like 8 damage. It was ridiculous. And then things got set up to where Doctor Strange and Wong did a mark for death on Miles. And so I had Thanos, Black Cat, Miles, and Gwen in the Seven Sons of Sinibus beam. Oh. And I dazed all of his characters except for Black Cat, who I KO'd with that attack. And again, I was rolling 8 dice for that attack, but I was coming out with like 10 damage, 9 damage. It was ridiculous. Needless to say, and Ghost Rider was chasing down Toad the whole time, and Toad couldn't get away, obviously. The game came down to where he only had Thanos left on his injured side. He was bleeding, and he had a stagger token on for his last activation. And he was down to 1 health. So he had to shake the stagger and shake the bleed just to stay alive. So it was pretty brutal. This is a really, really good attrition list. This is what I'm finding out. I just have to get my attrition online quicker and quicker to affect the board a little bit better. That's all. Fred, you should be running Doctor Strange.
Yeah. The Seven Sons beam seems very good with him.
Oh yeah, if you get 4 or 5 people in it, it's lights out. It really is.
Yeah, but that's a rarity. 4 or 5.
You're running demons, right?
Yeah, I am.
There you go.
Yeah. That's fair.
So, I mean, anyway,
I will certainly consider it. I just don't know who I would remove from the list to put him in.
Malekith.
No, I mean, you say that so quickly. He was very good in the game I brought him in. He was very useful.
Yeah, but 7's so hard to fit sometimes. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
unlike Ghost Rider and Malekith, you can actually run Strange and Ghost Rider together.
Right.
So, but anyway, so I went 2 and 2, learned a few things, and like this list I have is very good at attrition. So that's what I do.
All right, Brad, what tell us about your experience.
So I ran the tournament, but I also got to play. And first round I was up against CJ, who was playing Shield, and we drew Paranoia and Demons and played 16 points. And on the demons, I was like, I probably should play Juggernaut. And because of the points, that meant, and what's in my list, that meant I had to also play Toad. And Shield has so many reactive things. I'm like, I also really kind of want to play Mystique. And at that point, I could not be X-Men affiliated. But I can accidentally be Brotherhood affiliated, which my list can do randomly. So I played Brotherhood the first round.
Oh, jeez.
Which
with Mystique.
neither with Mystique Leader, which neither CJ nor I was expecting. So
But she's good for holding that back demon without
yeah.
committing anybody. Right?
CJ was really good. Every time I put the token down, he moved a model back there and got rid of it. And then I had to move another model back. But at the very end of this game, if he had killed Toad, I would have lost. And he didn't kill Toad, and I won. So, similar to my game with Steven. And then, second round, I played against Todd, who's playing Brotherhood. And we got Research Station and Infinity Formula. And I've talked about this before. I have like a crazy high win percentage with X-Men on Infinity Formula. So I felt pretty good going into this game. Less good when he put down Hulk. He was playing Hulk, Mystique Leader, Apex Predator, and Rogue. That was his list. Hulk is real good. And the only time I've ever lost Infinity Formula was when Les played Hulk, Juggernaut, Magneto against me. And so now I have 2 losses on Infinity Formula with my X-Men list, and I'm blaming Hulk. If you can get Hulk on Infinity Formula, I guess I just lose. I
mean, Hulk is hard to deal with.
I was making a pretty good run of it, but like killing his models that weren't Hulk. But then Hulk was just killing my stuff even faster. And so I just got attritioned out. And then third round, I played Steven. Steven's already talked a little bit about that game.
Oh, but I had a really good 7 Suns on you, too.
You did. You hit 3 models, one of which was Beast, who had 2 health left, and Beast survived.
Well, you sacrificed.
Yeah, actually. I played Sacrifice. So X-23 got hit twice.
Yeah. But Toad went down like a little sack potato.
Yeah.
So
it was a very good beam. And then I played Fred, and we've already kind of talked about that game. But I ended up going 3-1, which I'm pretty happy with.
All right.
Now,
well, it was a great tournament.
It's trivia time.
Go ahead.
It's trivia time. Okay. We're going to do trivia about the tournament.
Oh, God. Okay.
So we had 14 players, and I made all 14 players put their lists in as codes on Longshank, because if you put them in as codes, you can see all the data. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play Guess the Top. So there are 4 characters who are played in 5 different lists, and that's the highest number.
Before we progress, I feel like we should also clarify that the entire tournament was won by Les.
Oh, yes.
Congratulations, Les.
Yeah, Les
well
did
done.
a great job. And he had to... Did he play Nick in the final? Yeah, he played Nick in the final, right?
Yeah, I think he did.
He had to go through the West Virginia gauntlet because he played Brandon, Fred, and Brad, right?
He didn't play me.
No, he played Brandon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But that is like the 3rd tournament in a row where Les had to play against X-Men in the final. He lost to me, and he's won every time since. Okay, so the Models that were played in 5 lists. There's 4 of them.
Malekith won.
Fred, you guess first.
Me?
Yeah, you guess a model. I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. What?
Winter Soldier.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Steven, your turn.
Mine was Malekith. I'm sorry.
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Fred.
Dr. Voodoo.
Incorrect.
Really?
Really?
Oh, wow.
Surprising, right?
Surprising.
Steven.
Emma Frost.
Incorrect.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Fred.
Are we gonna do this until all the characters are gone?
We're gonna do it
okay.
until we get the top 4.
Red Skull, Master of Hydra?
No. Okay, Steven's
Okay.
gonna get one more guess, then I start giving clues. Steven.
Okay.
Bullseye.
No. That was a good guess, though. Okay, so a clue, if you were paying attention, 2 of these models, both Les and I had in our lists.
Oh, okay.
Fred, you want to
Is
guess?
it my turn?
Fred, it's your
Is
turn.
it my turn?
Yeah.
Apex Predator.
No.
Oh, what?
Toad.
Steven.
Toad.
No.
What?
Okay,
This is a fun game.
we
Fred.
clearly need more.
Hold on, let's give another clue. The third model that you guys are missing is a popular 4 threat that came out in 2023.
Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman is one of them. So Spider-Woman was both in Les's and my list, even though I didn't play her even once. But
okay.
So we got 2 more remaining. Steven.
Rhino.
Rhino was not in my list. So we have one more.
But that's
Fred.
correct.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what Les had and what you had, and what the crossover was, and I can't think of what it is.
I'll give an additional hint. It is one of the reasons I have accidentally fallen into Brotherhood.
Oh, Mystique.
No,
that's not correct.
I don't
Damn
think
it.
Les
I know
has
what it is.
Mystique. Steven.
I know what it is. But go ahead, Steven.
Pyro.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's 2 and 2.
Like...
You guys are tied right now. Okay. So this one is going to be a little bit easier, I think. We're going to name the top 2 tactics cards. One of them got played in 11 lists, and the other one in 8 lists. So what we'll do is we'll start with Steven this time. Can you name one of those top 2 team tactics cards?
Team tactics cards.
Yep.
As in, like, these are affiliation tactics cards, or just
They're
tactics
any
cards,
tactics card. The official name for the tactics cards are team tactics cards.
Okay, I didn't want to get confused.
Yeah, it's any of the cards.
Well, one of them has to be Brace.
Brace is number 1. Okay, Fred, can you guess number 2 for a point?
Number 2 has got to be Patch Up.
Correct. You guys did do better on that one. And then 3 of them got played 5 times, and that is Fallback, Mission Objective, and This is a Robbery.
Yeah.
Those were the next ones. Exceptional Healing, 4 lists. Okay. So this will be the tiebreaker, and I will take a guess from each of you before I reveal if anyone got it right. What was the number 1 Crisis played? Number 1 Crisis played. Fred, you can go first.
Fear Grips.
Okay, Steven?
Demons Downtown.
Neither one of those is correct. We're going to go another round of guessing. Fred?
Oh my gosh. Uh. Uh. I don't have any idea now. Sword Base.
Okay,
There's no way that's correct.
Steven?
Intrusions.
Those are both incorrect. And you're right,
Oh,
Fred. There's
jeez.
no way it was Sword Base.
There's no way it was Sword Base. That was a bad guess.
Let's go one more round of guessing, and then it's a tie if you both miss this. Fred?
Scrolls.
Okay, and Steven?
Senators.
Scrolls is the right answer.
Okay.
Eight people
Okay.
played Scrolls.
Now, to clarify, you mean they brought it as one of their crisis cards?
Yeah. It doesn't keep the data on how often it got played.
Okay.
I could crunch that data myself, but I'm not going to. And then there were 3 at 7 right under it, and it was Demons, Hammers, and Research Station. So
those were pretty good guesses.
okay, Fred wins.
Oh.
There are only 2 Infinity Gems played. They're both on Cork's Thanos. It was Mind and Power.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember that. So, well, Fred, you had to win something.
Oh wow! I see how it is.
He won 2 of his games.
Well, no, because I won the painting competition. So.
Oh yes! Congratulations!
Yeah. I totally blanked out the painting competition with your Dr. Voodoo. I almost said Brother Voodoo. Your Dr. Voodoo that Brandon told you to put in the competition.
Yeah, because I was going to put in Blady. He goes, no, Dr. Voodoo.
Yeah.
So that's why I made that deal with Brandon. So.
To be fair, I think that your blade looks awesome too. And this was there was some competition. Like, it wasn't a complete blowout. There were some beautifully painted models.
I think Les is at Adepticon, by the way.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Break a leg, Les. Go break some legs. But as I was saying, your Dr. Voodoo was very beautiful and shined even more above all the competition. So, well done. Well done, Steven.
Brad, thank you. Brad said it was very close, though.
It was.
Yes,
I was about to say that. You won by 1 vote.
Oh, my goodness.
And there were 3 people tied, 1 vote less than you.
Oh, my.
There were a lot of good models.
It was a very rich field of very well-painted models.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to step up my game from now on.
Yeah,
so.
It was very close. Okay, Fred, what's next on our agenda?
Okay, did you guys want to talk about games you played this week?
I do, because I learned something yesterday when I played 2 games against Brandon. Did you guys want to know what I learned?
Yes. Tell us what you learned.
You don't like playing Criminal Syndicate?
I learned he didn't play Criminal Syndicate either game. I learned again. I've learned this lesson before. I keep learning it. X-Force is really fun. Like
X-Force, yeah.
Really, really fun.
Okay. You played X-Force?
I did. Right. The first game, Brandon played the Cabal list that Steven and him made on the podcast, and that episode's not out yet, so you have something to look forward to, and I'm not going to talk about the list. And I played X-Force with Psylocke in it, which she works so good in X-Force. Like, she was great. And we play at 20 points. So my X-Force is a little light on the X-Force members because I always play Winter Soldier and I try to play Baron Zemo every game. And then I also had Cable, of course, X-23, Psylocke, is that enough
Psylocke
points?
and Honey Badger?
No, Bullseye.
Bullseye.
Yeah, I have 3 2s in that list, but I figure I'd take someone who could actually interact with the, because Honey Badger and Nebula can't.
Right.
Nebula's gonna get cut for Logan after Brandon and I talked about it after the games. Because I need another.
Yeah, I don't know if you need 2. If you need 3 2s, that's quite a
Well,
few.
and I need to fit another 4 into the list because of Psylocke.
Yeah, yeah.
Because 19, we played another game at 19, which is 1 point less, and I couldn't play Psylocke. Psylocke just did not fit in the list without taking 2 of my 2s, and I didn't want to do that. So, the second game, Brandon played his Hellfire Club list. Oh, I won the first game. Pretty handily.
I was going to say,
Dice were a little lopsided, and he rolled very few successes on blocks on defense, and I killed almost everything in his list. And then the second game, he played his Hellfire Club. We played at 19. I played some X-Force people. Really, it's the exact same list, except instead of Psylocke, I had to play Domino. This went way better for him. Even he rolled probably average defense, which probably helped. And then he was doing a good job of killing my models with like Red Skull 2 and Venom and Iron Man. And it was a pretty close game, but he did win it. And I had fun both games, so I might be going back to playing them for fun.
well, just like the Midnight Suns, they're X-Force is made to be an attrition list, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was fun to roll dice and re-roll some dice. And Psylocke was bonkers. She was like moving all over the table, making 7-die builders, and it was great.
Okay. Well, what about you, Steven? Did you play a game today?
yes. I actually got to play against Josh. He and his son Elliot show up on Thursdays sometimes. They don't have Cub Scouts, but he was playing Emma Frost also, doing the Hellfire Club, and he brought Old Sabretooth. We were playing Hammers and the Meteors, and we were playing at 18. So we brought Sabretooth, Venom, Blade, and Rocket Raccoon. It's kind of weird, but I brought my Midnight Suns, and I brought Blade, Moon Knight, Strange, Wong, and Voodoo. And needless to say, the only person he had left was Sabretooth after 4 rounds. And he was injured. Yeah, like I said, I made some changes to my list, though, Fred. I took out Captain America and Iron Man.
So, okay.
I'm just trying to find that good fit for the last 2, because I have Hawkeye, who's going to be Black Cat at some point in time. I just got to get her painted up. But I'm thinking along the lines of I want to put in Spider-Woman and Miles Morales, because Black Cat and Moon Knight are web warriors, and all 4 of those characters have stealth and ways to steal things.
Okay.
So that might give me better scenario play, because I'm really good at attrition. I don't really need any more help with that. So, but yeah, for this, I was like, well, for the meantime, I'll just put Captain Marvel and Baron Zemo in there, and lo and behold, I didn't even take them. So, just like Brad Spider-Woman, yeah, whatever, right? So, but yeah, that game was pretty vicious.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like it was.
Voodoo with 2 hammers is not a good time.
Oh my goodness. So. Voodoo. when we do Voodoo, we're gonna have a lot to talk about because he is a very good character. All right, let's move on. Is there anything else that we need to cover before we cover who we're talking today?
I don't
I don't
think so.
I don't think so. So
Cerebro, maybe?
Oh, I'm just still working on stuff. The Android app's out. Website's not going anywhere. They share data. Um, iOS app still working on it. I haven't had as much time the last 2 weeks as I thought. I've started working on assets for a Shatterpoint app. So if you're gonna get into
Oh, no.
Shatterpoint, I think I'm
already.
gonna be making an app. Well, if
All
I get on the
right.
ground floor, maybe I'll be the go-to.
Okay. Well, I look forward to using your app when we play Shatterpoint. All right, let's move on to who we're talking about today, and that is a gentleman by the name of M.O.D.O.K. M.O.D.O.K 1, the original flavor. All right, let me get this guy pulled up. Okay, his name is, as stated previously in our previous episode of M.O.D.O.K, George Tarleton. He has 2 physical defense, 3 energy defense, and 3 mystic defense. He has 10 stamina on his front side and a whopping 4 on his backside. He is 5 threat, size 4, and he moves slow. Brad, why don't you take his attacks?
So his first attack is Mystic, range 4, 6 dice. It builds power, and it has wild sap power. So for every wild, they lose a power and you gain a power. His Spender is a physical attack called Doomsday Chair. It's also range 4. It is, however, 7 dice and costs 3 power. It has Wild Bleed, and after the attack is resolved, you make an additional attack, just like the one you just did, without paying for the power. You can make that against another character within 2 of the original target character, and that can't make you do another attack. That's his attacks.
Okay, Steven, why don't you take the first 3 superpowers?
Okay. The first one is an active superpower. It will cost you 2 power, called Bow to the Will of M.O.D.O.K. Choose an enemy character within 3. Advance that target character short. This superpower can only be used once per turn. And then we have another active superpower called Imbecile. All the world is a weapon to M.O.D.O.K. It will cost you 2 power again. Choose an interactive terrain feature of size 3 or less within 3 and throw it long. This superpower can only be used once per turn. Last but not least, we have a reactive power, which is called P-Brain. M.O.D.O.K's genius is infinite. This is an X power cost. So you can spend as much power as you need. While this character is attacking or defending during the modified dice step of the attack, it may spend any amount of power to use this superpower. For each power spent, this character may reroll one of its attack or defense dice. This superpower can only be used once per turn. So if you're attacking twice in a turn, it can only be used for one of those attacks.
Okay, and the last superpower is the thing that really sets him apart as a very annoying person to play against, and that is something called Psionic Force Field. When defending against an attack, this character changes wild results in the attack roll to blanks, which is bananas. Absolutely bananas. Oh boy. Okay, let's talk about this character. So this is the nerfed version of M.O.D.O.K. He used to be even better than this. He's still really good. Like, I think that he's great.
Fred?
He's got a lot of. Oh,
Hold on, buddy. You forgot one thing, though.
oh, I did.
his psionic force field is not available to him on his injured side.
That's right. That's right. And that is important. So if you can drill through that first 10 stamina, his backside is a lot worse than his front side. Like, he only has 4 stamina on his backside, and he loses his best defensive trait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you for correcting me.
Sorry about the interruption.
No, that's fine. He has got long range attacks, range 4 on all of his attacks. Doomsday Chair, if you are hitting a character who's range 4 away from you, you can then Whirling Blades into a character who is range 2 away from that character. So it can be even further away. Or, wait, is it still bound by the range of the attack?
No,
That
it's
secondary
not.
attack is not. Okay, so you can touch someone who is range 4, a size base, and then range 2 away. That's pretty far. That is pretty far away to be making an attack.
Yeah, the only instance where it wouldn't do that is for characters that have stealth or stealth-like abilities.
Okay, so it wouldn't work against a character with stealth?
Correct. Yeah, if you had like Miles Morales at range 5 and you attacked like Gwen at range 4, you couldn't attack Miles.
Okay. Yeah.
As it
But
says,
still.
the additional attack must target another character within 2 of the original target character. You cannot target somebody outside of the range of 3.
Okay. So that is it is very impressive. It is an impressive ability. I also think that just his defensive ability, he has 10 health on his front, and he's usually far back. He's usually not like way out in the middle of the fight. So his survivability is pretty high with the ability to get rid of any wilds. That means that a lot of characters have triggers on wild, and none of those triggers will ever work against M.O.D.O.K.
Right. There are 3 specific characters that can go into M.O.D.O.K with attacks and not really worry. That being Red Skull, Loki, and Corvus Glaive. Because they can pay for the power to count their blanks in their results.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have any wilds in that result for M.O.D.O.K, he'll change them to a blank and they'll count as damage. So,
It'll still hit.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, talk about him, Steven. What are your thoughts here?
Oh, I've
You
run
have
him.
played him quite a bit.
Yeah, I've run him in Spider Foes, and oh my goodness, this person. Oh, he's a nightmare. He's got diversity of attacks. Like you already said, Doomsday Chair is fantastic. He gets power really easy with his Psionic Blast, and then he spends it really easy. I mean, it's a roller coaster. You get lots of power, and then you spend lots of power. It's what can I say? The only thing that holds him back is that short movement. So that's why he was so good with Red Skull in the beginning, because Red Skull could just place him within 2, and then he would just start attacking twice around. So, yeah, he's you have to have a plan to go into him. That's what I've figured out. You just can't go into him willy nilly because it won't work.
Right.
Now, remember, characters with rerolls are also important too, because you modify your dice before he modifies your dice. So things like Pierce do work against his defenses, but he'll change that. He'll change that to a blank. But if you do roll a wild, okay, and you have somebody who has a reroll, they can reroll that wild to try to get another result. So,
okay,
that is a couple of things that you can do.
okay. All right, Brad, what are your thoughts here on M.O.D.O.K?
M.O.D.O.K used to be, before the nerf, broken. Like, just way too good.
He was in every list.
And so
You would always see him.
So they nerfed him to be still pretty darn good. If you want to splash him, you should not feel bad about it. If he's affiliated, he's almost certainly in your list. He's really good. Not be surprised if, like Hulk, they have just decided that this is not the M.O.D.O.K they want in the game.
Right. That is why we did the original Hulk last episode, and we're doing M.O.D.O.K 1 this episode. And the reason we're doing that is because we think that there's a possibility. We've not heard anything official. There's no like rumors floating around, but it is a distinct possibility that they may be getting ready to rotate M.O.D.O.K and Hulk out of M.O.D.O.K 1 and Hulk 1 out of play, just in general, because they might be too meta warping just in their nature. I felt like I needed to say that. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brad. If you still have points to make.
I don't really have any more points to make. He's really good. He's just really good.
Yeah.
That throw is incredible.
The throw is very
good.
We
didn't even talk about that. It's a great throw. It's range 3. It picks up anything size 3 within range 3 and throws it long for 2 power. That's a great throw.
Oh yeah, oh boy, it's just, what can you say, right? Throwing it long, it's like most throws are medium, and more of them are short. This is a long throw. I know Ebony Maw has a long throw, and it's the same thing except it's size 4. I forget how much power it costs. And then Juggernaut has a long throw, but that's the only thing I can think of. And Juggernaut's is with a card, and that's the only thing I can think of right off the top of my head that has that long throw.
Yeah, it's a very useful thing to have. He does have 2 tactics cards that we should go over. The first one is called Aim Lackeys. It is unaffiliated and active, and M.O.D.O.K may spend 3 power to play this card. Choose another allied character. That character may perform a move action as an additional action during its next activation this round. To clarify, that does not mean it immediately moves. It happens during that character's activation.
Mm-hmm.
But you could play this on that character's activation, correct?
Read the card again one more time, please.
Yes.
M.O.D.O.K
it does not have to be M.O.D.O.K's activation.
Right. So, like, if you wanted to do it on, say, because he's in the art Taskmaster, you could wait till Taskmaster's turn, then M.O.D.O.K could spend the 3 power, and he would get an additional move.
Do it on Moon Knight when he's got the extra move himself, right? So you get 4 moves.
just run around the board. I'm not blown away by this. I mean, I can see this being very useful, but it's taking up a tactics card slot that's not. I mean,
well, it was to help out the big boys in Criminal Syndicate.
It would certainly help out Crossbones, who is pictured on the art.
Well, that's the one I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, well, but that would require you to take Crossbones.
But I mean, you have Kingpin, you've got Omega Red, you've got Rhino. I mean, you have a lot of slow plotters. You know what I mean? So
true. Yeah, the thing is it's 3 power. If it were less power, if it were enough power that he could, in theory, be able to use it on round 1, it would be a much better card. But I don't think he can. You might be able to get him enough power to be able to use it on round 1, but it would be tough, and you'd probably have to use a card to get it done in the first place. So you're already, and at that point, I don't think this is worth this effect.
Well, there's also another thing, Fred. It has no range restriction.
That's true. So he could be way far back, and he could
Yeah.
affect someone at the front of the battle.
Right.
So yeah. I mean, I'm not saying this is useless. It's just it's not.
Well,
I don't see you bringing this one.
I mean, to contest a point, so you can put somebody up there to throw somebody off the point. I mean, it does have its uses.
Yeah. I'm not denying that. Not denying that. All right. Let's move on to his other card. It is called Psychic Fortress. It is an unaffiliated active card, and M.O.D.O.K may spend 3 power to play this card. M.O.D.O.K gains cover this round, and allied characters gain cover while within range 4 of M.O.D.O.K this round. So this is similar to Magneto's card that does this, except it is more expensive and has a greater range, and you don't get it back. I think this one's a little bit. I might be wrong here, but I think this one's a little bit more useful than the other one. Cover is big. Cover can save your life.
Well, just imagine the cover that M.O.D.O.K gets, and then he's blanking out all your wilds.
Yeah.
How difficult is that?
Yeah. I mean, this could be. This is M.O.D.O.K safe, and range 4. That's pretty far, and your friends you'll have some allies within range 4 of M.O.D.O.K probably. So it'll be useful for them as well. And cover, I mean, that's one less damage you take.
Right.
It's not always the case that's the case, but I mean,
most of the time.
Most of the time it's one less damage you take, which can be great. It can be great.
Yeah. Like I said before, you have to have a plan to go into him.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that we want to talk about for M.O.D.O.K before we go into our letter grades? Okay. You've been quiet, Brad. Why don't you start us off? Did you just give him an F?
No, I said yeah. I was agreeing that I've been quiet. Oh no. No. I think he is still splashable. Very good model. I think he's an A-. Like, he's up there in the top tier.
All right. Well, what about you, Steven?
I'm at a B+. Just because I know how good he is because I've played him before, but there are some plans he just doesn't fit. So I agree with Brad. He is splashable, but sometimes with us getting more and more characters, that splash is a little bit hard to justify. So I think he was in the A category where he was splashable in other affiliations. I think he slipped into that high B category though, because of all the new characters that we've gotten since he's come out.
Okay, that's absolutely fair. I was going into this thinking I was going to give him an A.
Then do it.
I'm going to. I'm going to give him an A. I think he's great. He's really useful. He's really useful on the table. Do you remember? I don't remember what I gave to the other M.O.D.O.K. Did I give him a lower than A score, or did I give him an A? I think I gave him an A-. I don't remember either. But I think there's a vast difference. There's a greater difference between that M.O.D.O.K and this M.O.D.O.K. And I feel like this M.O.D.O.K. I don't think he's better. I don't think he's better than the other M.O.D.O.K. I think they're both very good. And I'm going to give this one an A. I'm not going to stress about consistency. That's not my thing. I don't do consistency.
So that puts his average at an A-.
I think that's correct. I think that's the first time you've said a correct one of those in a while.
Well, but in comparison to M.O.D.O.K Scientist Supreme coming out, they both have two different functions, right?
Right. They are filling different roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is pure attrition.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, we don't have Brandon today. Brad. Before Brandon's segment, Brad, what are your comic book recommendations for M.O.D.O.K?
Comic books. I do know comic books. I have two recommendations today. I've got kind of an old school M.O.D.O.K story and then a fairly recent M.O.D.O.K story. So the old school one is since his new version is coming out with Hulk and his original version came out with Hulk, I found us a Hulk story. So it's Incredible Hulk 287 through 290. It's by Bill Mantlo, and there were like 6 artists for this issue. So there's a rebellion in AIM, and M.O.D.O.K is trying to hang on to the power he has. To do this, he manipulates the Abomination, Hulk villain, and
I'm wrong.
what?
Keep going. I'm being stupid.
On the TV show She-Hulk, if you've seen that, Abomination's on there. Anyway, M.O.D.O.K is so despicable and heinous and awful in this that you kind of feel bad for all the other villains that are in this issue, this series of issues, this story. You feel bad for Abomination, who's not a good person in the comics, and but M.O.D.O.K is just so much worse.
On brand for M.O.D.O.K.
Yeah. The next story is M.O.D.O.K Head Games. This is by Jordan Bloom, Patton Oswalt. I have a typo on here, and Scott Hepburn.
Did you say Patton Oswalt?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Voice of M.O.D.O.K from the M.O.D.O.K TV show, Patton Oswalt, helped write this comic, along with Jordan Bloom, who created and wrote that TV show.
I forgot that TV show existed, if I'm to be perfectly honest.
I liked it a lot.
I've never watched it.
So if you like that TV show, you'd probably like this comic. Jordan Bloom and Patton Oswalt are probably the two biggest M.O.D.O.K fans that exist. But they wrote this comic, and in it, M.O.D.O.K is having visions of a family, and he can't figure out if that's real or not, which kind of ties into the TV show a little bit. And he goes on a quest to figure out if his family is real or not, and he interacts with different parts of the Marvel universe. So there's AIM stuff that he does something with Tony Stark, Iron Man. Gwenpool shows up one issue, and various other people show up. He goes to a supervillain auction at one point, which is kind of fun, where they're like buying all the gadgets and stuff they use to kill superheroes, try to kill superheroes. That's it. One a little more lighthearted, and then the other one is real dark.
Okay. All right. All right, let's move on to what would be Brandon's normal thing. Brad, did you manage to put him into or do either one of you have a list that you would like to put M.O.D.O.K into?
Sure, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. Let's go with Brad first.
Okay, so I'm going to do what Brandon would do, and I'm going to say play him with Kingpin Criminal Syndicate. He stays healthy the entire game. You can just sit him on a point and go pew pew, and he lives.
I mean, can I be? I think that Brandon would not bring him in this segment though, because Brandon likes to do out of affiliation stuff.
Is he affiliated in Criminal Syndicate?
Yes,
he's Criminal Syndicate
Oh,
affiliated.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll take that all back.
I thought you were trolling Brandon.
I was a little bit, but I did not realize he was affiliated. In that case, Do the exact same thing. Stick him on a point. He stays healthy the whole time. Go pew 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 in X-Men.
Okay. What about you, Steven? What have you got?
Oh, you got to go with the villains on this one. It's spider foes all day long.
Yeah.
Your 17 is Goblin, Venom, Rhino, M.O.D.O.K. Go to town. Go to town.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Hmm. Yeah, real. And then if you go 20, throw in Lizard. What the heck, right? Yeah,
All right.
that's a beef city, and it's going to come at you like a freight train.
Yes, it is. Okay, well, that's M.O.D.O.K. We have discussed him. He's a good character, and I don't. Okay, so you probably shouldn't buy him unless you have an immediate thought to bring him into a list.
Yeah, maybe
Mo-
give it like half a month.
Yeah, give it 2 weeks. we're worried that he might get rotated, but I mean he rocks. He's very good.
If
That
he does get
leaves.
rotated, I just want to point this out. AMG are dirty, filthy liars.
I mean,
Yes, they are.
they have already lied to us before.
They have, but this one's real bad because they said you'll
This one
always
would
get
be
to
real
play
bad.
with your models. We will never rotate out any characters.
Yeah. All right. That leaves my segment. So I'm gonna bring a podcast this time, and I may have brought this in the past. I don't remember. But it's a podcast that I love dearly, and it has kind of this very, very fast-paced comedic sensibility to it. It is an actual play D&D podcast called Dungeons and Daddies. Highly recommend. It's probably the funniest podcast that I've ever heard, and that's saying something because there are some very good podcasts out there. But this podcast, it is DM'd by one of the head writers on Borderlands 2, so that should tell you something about the quality of the writing on this podcast. It is hysterically funny. Go listen to it. It's got kind of this gonzo energy, and that's kind of the same energy that I associate with M.O.D.O.K. So that's kind of what my thought was. All right, well, that's it. That's all that we've got for you today. Go play some games. Go have some fun. See you later.